Red Sox have many questions to answer this offseason, and we're going to dive into them right now. So, hello everyone, I'm Evan Sharrard. Welcome to Red Sox Digest. Please make sure to subscribe. I want to bring up a little subgraph here as we're going to look at just in a second here, all the way down here. 90% of all of our viewers are not subscribed, and it would help out a lot if you guys were able to just click that subscribe button. It's totally free, keeps you up to date on all the latest Red Sox news, rumors, reports. So that's out of the way. Let's get right into what you came for. The source of the video, why we're doing this today. There's the subgraph again, but really what we're looking at is the 7 burning questions for the Red Sox this winter and this offseason in general. This was published on MajorLeagueBaseball.com, MLB.com by Ian Browne, the Red Sox beat reporter there. And he's got a couple questions to ask, so let's dive right into those. I want to try and answer these the best I can. Ian Browne gives his own answers. I want to give my own take on these things as well. But you'll be able to see what I think, what he thinks throughout. So here we go. There's going to be the upcoming free agents. You can see right there. I don't think I really need to talk too much about this because some of these guys we acquired at the deadline may be intending to be a rental. Lucas Sims, Luis Garcia, and then there are the older relievers who are coming to the end of their contract. Kenley Jansen, Chris Martin. And then there's the big one, Tyler O'Neill, which we've talked plenty about, Nick Pivetta, and then catcher Danny Jansen. The last 3 of which we acquired at the trade deadline. So that's the first question out of the way. Second question is, are any of these guys likely to receive those qualifying offers, and what's the deadline? So you can read through that to see the deadline. That's going to be November 19th. So really under a month at the time of this being recorded, but Tyler O'Neill is the one guy discussed here as the best chance to get that qualifying offer. And that is up at over $21 million. So a lot of money. Broke that down in a video if you want to go check that out. We've got a few of them, so click through, find out which one it is. We got plenty of coverage on Tyler O'Neill's contract situation, his possibility of going elsewhere, coming back, what that might mean, especially with the upcoming year with Roman Anthony coming up. So that's pretty much this question through. Let's dive into the next one, which is which players have options and the dollar figure and the impact on the payroll. So Lucas Giolito's the biggest one here, and he has a option that he can exercise, a player option, meaning that he can decide to either test the open market or come back to the club for $19 million. And based on, and I have talked about this a little bit, based on his performance this year, which is nothing because he was injured the whole year, I think that Lucas Giolito will accept that player option, come back to the Red Sox, and bolster the Red Sox staff. It's like one of those pickups that we've talked about in the past with the Red Sox, where it's like, oh, look, their deadline additions were people who are healthy from injuries. But this is a legitimate addition. We signed him last year. Same thing with Liam Hendriks. If he's coming back healthy, that's great. And you get 2 new pitchers back in the rotation and bullpen, respectively. But that's what's going on with Lucas Giolito. And the same thing with Rob Refsnyder. He's got a $2 million per club option. I'd be a little surprised if they didn't bring him back just because of his contact and apparently power abilities versus left-handed pitching. He's not going to be a guy that starts. I don't think he expects that, but he's a really good plus bat to have and for pretty cheap as well. So that's that question. Moving on, who might be a non-tender candidate and when does the club have to make that decision? So the Red Sox don't have any. That's what Ian Browne says really. But Jarren Duran, Tanner Houck, and Cutter Crawford are the only arbitration-eligible players, which is important. So these all will be due by November 22nd, where the Red Sox will have to formally tender their contracts to be for players for the following season. And if they are non-tendered, they become a free agent, what have you. Now, the likelihood of that for the Red Sox is pretty low. I think they're going to all go to arbitration with these guys or get a long-term extension done. More likely with Houck and Duran, I think that it'll probably be more likely that the Red Sox will test an arbiter, where the way that arbitration works in baseball is very simply put, player has a side, team has a side. They basically argue what they think the player is worth. The arbiter, third party, decides with one or the other, and whichever way is the money that they get. So it's a long process. It's the way that it works in baseball and a few other sports as well. But that's this process. And Duran, I think, would be likely to get either the most or the second most behind Tanner Houck and then Cutter Crawford coming. But that's that question. Why don't we go into the next question, which is who needs to be added to the 40-man to avoid the Rule 5 draft? So the Rule 5 draft, for those who are unaware, is a draft where in the offseason, players can enter the Rule 5 draft of those players who are not on the 40-man roster, and there's a certain requirement that you must meet in order to be eligible for the Rule 5 draft. And what that means is, of the players who are not on the 40-man roster for whatever big league team they are on, then they enter into that draft, and all 30 teams get a couple chances to pick players. And of that pool, whoever they pick must stay on their big league roster the entire season. And if they don't, they are sent back down. And when they are sent down, they are sent back to their original club. So it's pretty much like almost like a tryout at the major leagues. But this is the way that a lot of teams will get younger players. And then all of a sudden, oh, they got him in the Rule 5 draft. Or a lot of times there will be guys who are a little bit older, utility guys, who are picked up that way. So these are the names to watch out for, and all of the respective numbers, like no 12, which is number abbreviated 12, like for Joe Stinkson Garcia, probably butchered that, unfortunately. Forgot, like, did not prep myself before this for that. But all of those numbers next to them are the prospect ranking in the Red Sox organization. So you can kind of get the idea for that. May do another video on the Rule 5 draft just to kind of explain it, because I think that's worth its video in its own right. But moving on from that, we will now move over to the next question, which is what kind of help do the Red Sox need? And we've talked about this plenty, all the rumors and the latest reports, whether it's a Sports Illustrated article or The Athletic or Fansided, wherever. We've reported on pretty much as much we can get our hands on and with reasonable time. So the Red Sox are in a postseason drought, as Ian Browne notes here. The bullpen, the starting rotation, and a right-handed power bat are the big ones. And so there are some names dropped in here as well. Corbin Burns has been a big one that we've talked about for a little bit. Pete Alonso is going to be an unrestricted free agent. He plays first base. That's a DH sort of thing with Casas and Alonso. If they keep them both, we'll get to that. And then Teoscar Hernandez, who's probably going to win a World Series tonight at the point of this being filmed. Hopefully the Dodgers sweep the Yankees. That starts in about 30 minutes from the time I'm filming, so that's 8:08 Eastern time. But that should be exciting. Hernandez, older, but again, you know, Tyler O'Neill's already there. Different skill set. Might do a video on that as well, just to kind of see the differences so that we can get that out there. But yeah, I fully agree with this. Yeah, starting pitching, a bullpen help, and a right-handed power bat for sure. Too many lefties in the lineup. The starting rotation's not strong enough to really make it to the playoffs unless there's some improvement from within, which we saw this year as well. And if that happens again at the same rate, yeah, they probably get better. But Red Sox need some help, and they've got some money to spend. So that's that. And the last question, which I think by far is the most enticing, would be, who are the Red Sox willing to trade? So this is the stuff that's the most speculatory, of course, but Tristan Casas being in here as the first name, to me, was shocking the first time that I had made a video about Tristan Casas and trade rumors. And initially, when I was making that video, I didn't think that I would like it. But based on what the trade was, it was Casas for George Kirby. And he's a Seattle Mariners pitcher. Really good control. Really, really good potential. Good pitcher. Not quite to the ace level yet, but he's like right there. And I actually liked it after that, because I was like, okay. But my one reservation was that will Casas then go and break out? So then this kind of talks about Devers being moved to first or DH, Casas being traded, and then bringing in a guy like Alex Bregman to play third base. I don't hate that. But I think it's really interesting, the chances of the Red Sox trading off a guy like Tristan Casas. I think we're in for an exciting offseason for the Red Sox. But with that being said, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for tuning in to Red Sox Digest. I'm Evan Sharrard saying so long once again, and please, please, please stay tuned for more.